3 people on board a plane were able to walk away miraculously after the pilot was forced to make an emergency landing on a Phoenix road. We showed you this incredible video earlier this week, taken on 7th Street in Central Phoenix.
The pilot, Mike Traegers, joins us in studio. So good to see you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Listen, I know you have a military background. You flew for years commercially for American. Was this the closest call you ever had?
I will say this is the most unique call I've ever had, definitely. Just knowing 7th Street, and I think there was some divine intervention because there was
no traffic to be
no
on the
traffic
street.
on 7th Street. Yeah, everybody said the same thing. So yeah, I've had lots of emergencies over my 50 years of flying, but I think this one will be a standout.
Yeah.
So, Mike, walk us through from beginning to end what went wrong.
Well, we took off from Hangar Hacienda, and we were in the air about 10 minutes, and we experienced some unusual indications in the propeller RPM first. That was the first indication. You got to remember this whole incident from the time we began seeing the problem till we were on the ground was about 1 minute and 57 seconds.
It must have seemed like an hour and 57 minutes.
To me, it was a little bit in slow motion, but you know, the good training kicks in. And I got to give a lot of kudos to a lot of the airline guys that are in our valley right now that for years, 25 years, did the training for me through the airlines and other events. And these guys, they trained me well. I really give them a lot of credit because that allowed me to maintain a situational awareness, which really was the key to the whole thing. So once the engine failed and we no longer had, we actually started diverting to Sky Harbor. I was going to try to make Sky Harbor. And once I realized that we had no power and there was no control, from the time that happened till the time we were on the ground was 23 seconds.
Wow.
So it really was a very quick experience event. It all had to happen immediately, exactly the way it happened. And, you know, muscle memory. Yeah. That's what actually I attribute it to, muscle memory.
I'm guessing a pilot with as many years experience as you have in the cockpit maintains your plane perfectly. But when a plane is as old as that seaplane was, are there things that arise that even if the plane is perfectly maintained, you can't predict?
Well, in airplanes, like anything else, that is the case because mechanical things fail, just like this. But these airplanes are maintained to a very high standard. The FAA has a very high standard, even under Part 91, which is a non-commercial operation. They maintain. We have to maintain them in annual conditions. There are many parts on them that have time life items, so they're maintained very well. But one of these things, it appears right now, this is very preliminary, that the failure could not have been predicted. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens it happened when it did.
Was it a part?
Well, we're not sure yet. We see some indications, but right now the FAA will be with us on tomorrow to look at all the paperwork and all that, and then the NTSB will be with us on Monday. We'll do an inspection, and if they find something that requires them to advise the rest of the community, they will do that, and they'll help us determine exactly what happened.
You obviously seem so skilled and confident in your abilities thanks to all of that training in years past. Was there ever a moment of panic for you or any of your 2 passengers?
No, my 2 passengers were pilots, so I got to give them a lot of help. I couldn't have had a better crew on board at the time that happened. But no, it's that muscle memory that kicks in, and you wind your watch, and you make a decision. I think the biggest thing I can take away from it is to keep reminding myself that in a situation like that, you make a decision, and you stick with it. You don't try and, I think too many accidents happen because a pilot might make this decision and then try and do something else and change your mind. But in 23 seconds, there was no time to make any other choice.
We did a story earlier this week about private plane safety. And as a guy who flew everything from the Airbus to the 757, I'm wondering what your stance is on these private planes, and are they less safe than the big commercial planes?
No, definitely not. It depends on
in a
It
week.
depends on the operator, obviously, and there are operators just like anything else, truckers and everything else that maybe cut corners. But we like to think that you know, most of the people out there are straight up. They follow the rules. They fix the airplanes when they need to be. They're always maintained to an airworthiness standard. So the skies are safe. It's the safest form of transportation. So I'll be out flying next week and
Business as usual.
yeah, just as usual.
As a guy who drives the 101 and the 202 every day, I agree. I think flying's
I
way
just
safer.
hope I don't have to see you down there sometime. And you know, I got to ask if I could please just send kudos out to the Phoenix PD and the first responders and the medical team. These guys were absolutely magnificent. They secured the area. They had a great sense of humor. The guy gets out right away when we were out, and the first guy that comes up and he kind of smiles and he goes, "I'm going to have to give you a ticket for parking the wrong way." And I just thought that was hilarious. He broke the whole chain. And then there were these two other guys that came, and they said, these two young African American guys, and they were so amazed because they were right there, and they said, we got to give you a hug. We got to have a picture. They set the whole tone. Those two guys set the whole tone for the whole day. Yeah. And it was great. It was fantastic. These guys are really, our people here, they were fantastic.
Well, I have to say, the next time I fly, I want you in the cockpit.
I appreciate that very much. I really do. I always wonder who's going to fly with me, if they'll fly with me anymore, but I really appreciate that, definitely.
What a great job, and we're so glad you're here with us, and you and your passengers are safe. And is your plane going to be okay?
That we were talking about that earlier. We'll see after the NTSB has a chance to take a look at it. We will be able to do a deep dive into the aircraft and take things apart, and we'll be able to tell. It'll really be an economic issue at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
It's special. From 1940?
Yes, this is a very special airplane. They only made 1,060 of them approximately in 1946 and 47. That was it. Wow. And they are extremely special design, and they have special capabilities. So I would not want to see us not be able to. Anything's fixable.
Sure.
If you throw enough money at it. But
it's a very cool looking plane.
It is a cool. I have another one just like it in the hangar.
Oh, he'll take you for a spin.
I would love to. Right.
Anytime, you're more than welcome to.
Listen, well done.
Thank you very
Really
much.
well done.
I really appreciate your interest in the aviation, and you know, like I said, I send my kudos out to the guys that trained me because they're the ones that created this.
They did well.
Good to see you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks
Thanks
so
for
much,
coming in.
Mike.
Yeah, you bet.